All right, guys, so I did the shooting portion before this. If you can't tell, I'm pulling the battery out. So this is a VFC 417D. I believe the D stands for... No, I'm kidding. It's the barrel length. I know what you were thinking, but no, I don't. I think it's the barrel length. I think. Not 100% sure. These are pretty expensive. The 416s aren't quite as expensive. In real life, you can't really get a legit German-made H&K for either one. They have kind of clones, like there's one company that makes a clone. It's Hanel. We're just here with the jokes, aren't we? This video's got all the D and A jokes, huh? So I'll just start from the back, go to the front. It is a typical 416, 417 stock. I don't like these because they're too long, in my opinion. Like, all the way in actually is pretty comfortable for me. But as soon as you click it, like, out one, well, okay, so out one is just fine, too. But when you get to the second position, which is normally where I have a standard AR type stock, it's on the second position, and that is too long for me. So it has to be on one. So something about this stock is just a bit longer. It's beefier in the back. It fills the shoulder, especially with the butt plate on here. Let's see if that changes things on the first setting. Yeah, that's like the furthest I would ever want it, is one click back. All the way forward is probably better for me, my stature. Anyways, it is what it is. I'm just not a fan of the H&K stocks. Now, it is missing the screw on the bottom of here. So I did, again, sell it, and he is aware that this is the case. So the buffer tube spins. So I contacted VFC to see if they can send him that part, and so he can put it on there so that doesn't do that anymore. The pistol grip is also kind of funky. I'm not a fan of that either. It can take pretty much any standard AR pistol grip. Now, this being slightly proprietary, I'm not sure how that would work. It probably would work with the standard grip, but does use kind of a proprietary gearbox, so it might be a bit finicky on motor angle. So do keep that in mind. You might not get the best sounding gearbox if you do change this on this particular gun. Same probably isn't said for like the VFC 416, because the 416 just uses a standard version 2 gearbox. Now, this gearbox isn't hard to work on. It's just kind of weird. Like, the wires don't run through the gearbox. They run around the gearbox on the outside, which has its pros and cons. The wires are very accessible, but I would rather them be on the inside, kind of protected, out of the way, and they run in a specific direction. Here, they kind of just flop around. There are some channels. There's one channel on the one side that you're supposed to run it through. It's just weird that the wires are on the outside. It does use a proprietary trigger switch too. Now, that is brand new on this gun because that was an issue. It did burn out, and I replaced it. It's not an expensive replacement part. So he said something about maybe HPAing this. I told him I would recommend just using it as an AEG. I guarantee you could get, you could a couple years, 2-3 years down the line, and then you could just replace the trigger contacts if you want, or HPA it, or do a MOSFET. But it's good to go. I guarantee you it'll last 2, maybe 3 years, depending on really how much you use it. He does have a rotation of like 3 guns, so this may be his 4th, I think. So he's got plenty of guns to rotate through, so it's not like this is only one. So it should last him 2 or 3 years of good, hard use. Now, the receiver is metal, of course, very nice and beefy. It's got the trademarks, H&K 417D. It does have a functional bolt lock and charging handle. Now, the charging handle comes back as far as like a real AR. It's pretty cool. It's very reminiscent of a real AR, and it doesn't spring forward on its own, just like a real firearm. And the bolt is open, and then you hit the bolt lock, and it closes. So that is really cool about this gun. I really like that. Dust cover's actually polymer, just like the real one. Bunch of H&K markings here. These guns are actually pretty hard to find too, if I didn't already say that. The magazine catch works like normal, easily accessible. It's just on the one side. You got the fire selector markings. Same thing over here, safe semi-full auto, and that does function as is. H&K logo up here. You got the quad rail, famous H&K quad rail. It's higher than a typical AR because of the gas system. It uses a short stroke gas piston like a G36, whereas like real ARs, the AR type use direct impingement. I mean, there are AR types that use gas piston like this. This is an AR type, you know, right? M4 type rifle, whatever. But it's different gas system wise. For airsoft, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. It's airsoft. So you do have the quad rail all around. You've got the drum style sight like the MP5, and then a front sight there that's fixed. You can take those off, put an optic on here, whatever. You have a sling mount on the front, but it's a clip style. It's not a QD, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think a QD would fit in there. And then a short barrel. Now I'm guessing I'm going to guess 12 inches. I'm guessing the barrel length on this is between 10 and 12 inches. It's definitely not longer than 12 and not shorter than 10. So it's between that. Now the hop-up system is all stock. It is a rotary style. It is polymer. It's very similar to a lot of the VFC rotary hop-ups. They started doing that back in, I want to say like 2015, 2016. 2016, I think is when they started doing those rotary hop-ups in all of their guns. Those are much, 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 much better. So much better than their polycarbonate crap. The white clear polycarbonate is garbage. Absolutely super brittle trash. These are so much better. And they've been doing that for a while. In the classic VFC aluminum cylinder head in that color. Now I think they do red for their cylinder heads. In terms of upgrades, it's got a brand new SHS, a 16 TPA high torque motor. It has 12-to-1 gears by SHS. They might be 13-to-1. They're definitely high speed. I can't remember off the top of my head which one they were. You're going to get like 1 RPS difference. 12-to-1s to 13-to-1s is like 1 RPS is the difference. So I can't remember exactly which one is in here. Based off the rate of fire, I'm probably going to guess 12-to-1 because it shoots real fast. SHS metal rack piston, ASG M125 spring, because ASG does increments of 5. It's like, 10. ASG M125, M115, 105, and then the 95. They don't do like 120, 110, 100 like most companies do. They go in weird increments. So it's a 125 by ASG, which I have used multiple of their springs. The compression is perfect on this thing, and that's why it shoots so hot. Because I have this same ASG spring in one of my ICS ACR, and it gets about 390, 400 with a .2. About the same barrel length, but it shoots a solid 20, 30 FPS lower than this. So this is getting about 420 with a .2. Now the guy that plays, that bought this, he said the field that he plays at allows 420. It's like 420 is the FPS limit for AEGs, which is absolutely perfect because that's what this shoots. So apparently they will allow this, and they allow full auto. Apparently, I don't know if they allow it all day or if it's like some games, you know, open play. Some games are full auto, some aren't. That's a good idea in my opinion. Some are full auto, some aren't, but most fields do no full auto ever, pretty much. Maybe one a day, but typically they do none, at least in my experience. The places that I play, they're just wannabe Milsim places. So it is what it is. And that's it. Motor, gears, piston, spring, and that's it. That does have the brand new trigger contacts, but no MOSFET. What I was using in there, like I said earlier, is the Nanotech 2000 milliamp nunchuck. That fits in there perfectly, and it is getting 33 rounds a second, which is pretty crazy for how hard it shoots. So, shoots really good. It shoots easily 250 feet with the stock hop-up stuff. I'd recommend .3s. He could use 2.5s if he wants, but since it's shooting 420, 3s is really what it's suited for. And as you saw in the chrono test, we'll see at the end, it's shooting a solid 1.6 joules with .3s. So I don't think I can adjust the brightness on the chrono here, but as you can see there, 340 with a .3 is 1.62 joules, so it is shooting hot, close to about 420. 338, 1.59, so roughly 1.6 with a .3. Try full auto. And as you can see there, it just rips. I'm gonna be shooting for that small tree furthest out there. going easily 250. All right, let's try that full auto again. I filled up the mag.